And welcome back to the Hermitcraft FTB server with the monster pack and this monstrous quarry you see here. I believe the dimensions of this quarry, this is with the Quarry Plus, and I went ahead and made it maximum size. I didn't bother to measure it or anything like that, but I do believe that it's 256 by 256, which makes it about like 4 of the regular normal quarry. This thing has, I set this up, probably about 18 or 20 hours ago, and it's only down 6 or 7 levels or so. Of course, there's been a lot of back and forth with this thing. Now, I have a setup of chests here, picking up stuff from the piping, and naturally, of course, because I didn't diamond pipe everything, most of it's ending up here, and then each chest down the line has less and less as we go. At one point, I set down some barrels. I didn't bother to prime them anything. That's a mistake. So this one ended up with aluminum. That one ended up with aluminum. And this is the air shards. I could have done that a whole lot better. I really, ideally, need to have quarry output going to the AE system, an ender chest that is feeding into the AE system. I don't know what it is with. I put the cursor on this ender chest, and the sky goes all funky. I noticed it was doing something like that in the Nether too. Anyway, this thing has kind of a long, sad history. I started out using biofuel generators fed by bioreactors. And the bioreactors, I would load them up with dyes, from the rainbow trees, like several other people have done. And it works great as long as you keep planting and cutting down more rainbow trees and using the unifier to turn all the dyes into the Minecraft equivalents, and then run those dyes in there. I had this chest full, and I had one of those transfer nodes on it, and piping the dyes in there, and that worked great. But unless I was doing lots and lots and lots of trees, I could spend hours doing those rainbow trees and converting the dyes, and all of that is manual, of course. Then it just wasn't going to work. And so I let it go. I let it run out. And then I had an inspiration. This rancher thing. Originally, I built this fenced-in area for cows. I started out with the mushrooms that you find all over the place here. Let's see. I made one of these reusable safari nets. And I went around here and I captured a few mushrooms. I dropped them in the fenced area. It didn't have water in there then. And plugged up a rancher. And I had some fluiduct coming out of it, out of the ranchers, going into these bioreactors. And it worked great in theory. The ranchers milked the mushrooms and got all the mushroom stew out of it, and the mushroom stew was then dutifully piped into the bioreactors, whereupon absolutely nothing happened. Bioreactors apparently do not react with mushroom stew, which to me doesn't make any sense, because mushroom stew is a biosubstance, and a bioreactor should be able to work with it, but it doesn't. So then I had another inspiration. I got shears, and I sheared the mushrooms, which of course, as you know, turns them into cows. And so then I broke and replaced all the pipe, and the ranchers were then picking up milk. I figured, okay, milk is a vanilla item. It is a bio item. It should work. It didn't. And so, since the cows didn't work and the mushrooms didn't work, even though, honestly, I think they should have, then I had another idea. There is one dye that is reproducible. So I got out my handy-dandy safari net, and I went back to the overworld, and I grabbed a bunch of squid and dropped them in there after I put all this water in there and so on. And the squid were producing ink sacs at a sort of kind of almost reasonable pace, and I was having them dumped in here. Actually, for a while I was piping them directly into the bioreactors because the ink works. It was kind of slow though. And then I logged off for a while. I come back and all my squid are gone. And I realized, of course they're gone. They despawned because I hadn't used a name tag on them. And even then, I would have had to have maybe a dozen squid in here in order to have enough ink production to keep this mess running. So that was another failed idea. Sort of kind of good in concept, but it just didn't work. So then I come over here and I put a bunch of these steam dynamos over here. And I took all the coal that had been collecting in these chests and I put it in that chest. And I tricked out one of my diamond pipes here to send coal down the yellow path, which would put it in this chest. And then there's a transfer node here and some transfer pipe to send that coal into these engines. Worked great. This many engines with this thing set to output at 450 RF a tick. The engines were putting out just enough RF. Well, they make 80 RF a tick each. And there's like 6 of them, so 6 times 8 is 48. So 450 should be enough. It was able to keep charging at 450. And that worked great. Until the quarry went long enough without discovering coal that basically it was burning the coal faster than the quarry could pull it out of the ground. End result, system shuts down on its own for failure of power when the energy cell goes dead. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about, okay, what other ways can I automate power production that will produce enough power to keep this thing going without me having to come back here and babysit it a lot. And of course, also, before I start this thing back up, I need to do something about the item situation. Instead of dumping it all into chests, I need to route it into the ender chest and then have it process it in the AE system on the other end, instead of just doing all this business of dumping it into chests. So the AE processing thing, now that it has enough power and more storage capacity, as a matter of fact, yeah, Certus quartz here. All of these chests have a little Certus quartz in them, so I'm going to pick up that stuff. I'm going to need it. And let's see. Whoops. I don't want the marble just yet. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I want any more marble. I've got royal tons of marble now, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with that much of it. So I need to set it up so that everything goes into the ender chest. Everything that I want, that is. I still don't want that much cobblestone, dirt, gravel, basically most of these things right now. Like, for example, this emery. I don't think I want any of it. I've already got 10 or 15 stacks of it from previous mining operations. And as far as I know, it's used to make one machine. I don't think there's any other use for it. I have no idea why there's that much of it in the world, but it's insane. But anyway, I finally got the answer to the power problem. And it's not these things. I mean, these were a decent idea, and it worked as far as it went. But the simple fact is, the Quarry is not capable of producing enough coal fast enough for this to be useful. So, it's time to take all this crap out of here. And set up something else. And this is something that, frankly, I have to credit Hypno for this, because I got the idea after seeing his recent video about some really cool cheaty power. Really cool, really super cheaty power. And I'm going to get a few things done, put some stuff together, and we'll start producing cheaty power. Alright, I'm ready to get to the next step here. And I've gone ahead and set up a water area here. And I'm going to pop down these steam turbines. I've made 4 of them, which, as I understand it, should easily be enough. Now, let's see. Yeah, okay. Block here and drop a liquid transfer node on it. And then do the same thing here. Okay. Not a problem. I have a bucket. I can fix that. We'll just keep that handy. Okay, these things are already filling up with water and power and so on. I'll repeat the same thing over here. There. That's how I should have done it to begin with. Okay, and the next part about that, for remaining stable with everything, is to pop these guys in between them, these covers, so that each transfer node is feeding one turbine. Okay. Now they're full. I'm going to go ahead until I'm ready for this to go on and just take that off of there. Okay, that thing is completely flat empty. So let's just hook this up to it. and it's charging fast. I think we can go ahead and set it back up to max power. And now I need to get the AE system ready to accept items directly instead of pumping it into this line of chests. Let's see. Oh, I know what I'll do. I got some cobble. Let's see, the black is going down, so we'll just set the black to cobble. The white will be open to everything. We'll just put cobble on all the rest of them. And since cobble is sent to the void, there will never be any cobble coming down here. This means everything coming up will go into that ender chest. And now a little bit of prep on this end. Alright, I'm going to set this over here for now. Let's see, I'm going to need import bus. Yeah, one import bus. And we'll just set that for the moment. I'm just going to pop it right there. Wrench it around like so. Drop the ender chest on top of it. And that will suck everything out of the ender chest into the ME system. And I should have enough storage for a reasonable amount of stuff. I've got 2 empty 64K storage modules, and as I get enough quartz and other materials in, I will make more of them. Alright, so that's ready on this end. Let's head out here to the quarry. That's charging quickly. I think we can go ahead and give it a shot to turn it on. Items are flowing again. And they're going straight up into the system. Good. And without trying to overload the thing, I am going to start taking the stuff out of the chest, putting it into the ender chest so that it gets processed and so on, and then I can get rid of this line of chests. But this thing, this power setup, is keeping up very nicely, generating power from water. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that were to be nerfed or changed in some way, but while it works, I'm going to use it. Because, hey, free power. Alright, I'm going to babysit this thing for a little while and work on getting these chests emptied, maybe pretty this up a little bit, and I'll be back. Alright, it is now actually several hours later. Quarry has dug down quite a few more levels, and the power supply from these things has been nothing but steady. It is enough to keep this redstone energy cell charged and still run the quarry at full speed with maximum 2000 RF per tick output coming out of the quarry. So that part's great. Everything's working good there. There's still some more stuff in these chests that I haven't bothered with just yet, but honestly, none of it is anything I need right now. So I'm going to just let it sit there and take care of it later. Meanwhile, I have been doing a few other things back at the machine base. You gotta love that transportation lag. Okay, hit down here. Now, of course, one of the first things I did was I took out the old biofuel system. It was out of dyes and out of fuel anyway, and that thing was half empty. And so I got a few more of these steam turbines and these liquid transfer nodes and so on, and set this arrangement up here to keep this powered, and it's been doing a very good job. It drains a little bit when the pulverizer and the furnace are running at the same time, but that's okay. I can expand the system easily to cover a lot more space, a lot more power capacity. And I will be doing that as I get more raw materials and stuff in. Now, one thing that had occurred to me is I was getting ready to go out and head back over to the Nether and the Dirt Blaze Farm. Yes, that's what it was. And do something there. But it occurred to me. The auto spawner from Mine Factory Reloaded and grinders and such like and whatnot would be a much better way to handle getting what I need from the blaze. So let's head over to the Blaze Farm. Now all I need to do is capture one in this net. Preferably without getting blasted at. Got him. Alright. Let's book out of here. Okay, now for using this thing, I think I'm going to need a decent sized room off this way. And yeah, I had started to dig this out when I was first setting up this room to be underneath of up there. So it goes back a fair bit. And I'm thinking I should make a decent sized room here. It doesn't have to be super big time because the way blaze are, you're not going to kill them with fall damage. They're just going to drift downward and be caught by the grinders. And the idea here, an automatic blaze farm with all you can eat blaze rods. And I still have to do a little bit of looking up about how that auto grinder operates. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get set up for it, and we'll get that thing operational next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.